Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, and...
Wait,
Isn't this what I wore during the first episode? What does it mean? What is up, guys? My name is Jerome, and welcome to Fishcracker Faith. Can I get a sign? I think it's a very human thing to ask for a sign. I think it's a very scientific thing to ask for a sign, actually. There is a claim, and to back that claim up, there has to be evidence to prove it. I mean, the prophets sometimes encourage us to ask for a sign from God, a sign that will prove his faithfulness. So I wondered, why doesn't Jesus give a sign more often? All throughout the Gospels, people encountering Jesus ask for a sign that proves his messiahness. Example 1. The Pharisees asked Jesus for a sign from heaven. Jesus had just casted away a demon from a mute man, and they accused him of casting the devil with the prince of devils. And with the classic Jesus style, Jesus retorted with a parable. And Jesus asked if he casts out demons with the power of demons, by what power do they cast out demons? Jesus was a savage. Example number 2. The Jews asked Jesus for a sign that would justify his actions. This was referring to the temple cleansing in the book of John. Jesus was brutal. And one time he complained, "This generation is a wicked generation. It seeks a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah." That's for another episode. Jesus kept shutting down these "can I get a sign" moments, but it's not like Jesus can't do it. I mean, how effortlessly does he perform miracles? With just a word, boom, miracle, boom, sign, boom, proof. All of that strife against him would have gone away had he just performed that sign that would prove to his naysayers that he was the real deal. But he doesn't. Why? Here's what I think. Jesus knows it wouldn't work. Interesting answer, isn't it? How can it not work? Let me bring it back to 1,000 years before Jesus. The Exodus. I keep returning to this story in Genesis. It's like so central to the biblical story, huh? But anyways, picture this. You're an Israelite, and the God that you worship split the Red Sea to help you cross and evade your Egyptian captors. The waters poured down on the Egyptians, and you shout, "Hooray!" And you worship the God who set you free. This God can do anything, you think to yourself. And he can. But a few days later, just wandering in the wilderness, you and a few people grumble that you have no food to eat and no water to drink. You even complain how you were just brought out here to die. At least in Egypt, you had something to eat and drink. It's like the whole parting the Red Sea then etched into your brain. And then, God sends down bread from heaven, and Moses strikes a rock on God's command so that water will flow out from it. And now you're happy again for the miracle. So then you walk to the mountain, but Moses goes up alone, and then you get bored and start praising an idol, and you get the picture. God sends sign after sign after sign that proves that he is faithful to his people. But time after time after time, it's like people keep forgetting that he is. Now, I don't think God suddenly thought, "I'm gonna stop making miracles because it doesn't work." I believe he knows the Israelites will do this, whether he shows a sign or not. So the signs aren't dependent on people believing in him. He's probably gonna do it on his own, and it's probably because the people of Israel needed the miracle. If the Israelites needed a miracle, God would send it. If the people needed a sign, God would send it. So if God doesn't send a sign, it's probably because we don't need it. We have enough to go by to see and believe in God. Here's another point. When we think of signs in its natural, material, non-abstract form, what comes to mind? Stoplights, pedestrian crossings, labels. I mean, we literally call this a stop sign. It's literally in the name. Stop sign. So what are they? They're objects that point or indicate to something. This sign tells you where to cross the street. This sign tells you where the nearest fast food is. This sign tells you to go faster if it's yellow. Wait, no, don't do that. That's dangerous. Don't do that. And you notice? The signs aren't the valuable thing that we need to know, but they point to it. Miracles work the same way. They're signs. It's not the miracle that holds value, but it's evidence pointing to the cause that has true value. But from the Bible up to now, we have become so fixated on the miracle, on the sign, that we've forgotten the miracle worker, the sign maker, the one who actually makes the miracle and sends the sign, the one who has actual value. When the Israelites saw the Red Sea split apart, they focused on the waters instead of the one who parted the waters. When they saw bread come down from heaven, they focused on the bread instead of the one who sent them the bread. And when the Jews saw Jesus multiply the bread, they focused on the bread instead of the bread of life who made it all possible. And when the miracle is done and they've had their fill and fun, they'd walk up to God and demand for more instead of looking at God and trusting in Him. But I mean, who can blame them? It's a human thing. My pamangkins love to open their presents. Sure, they say thank you to us once we give it to them, but we all know they're not focusing on us anymore. And it's the same thing with miracles. It's easier to focus on miracles because we get what we want. To focus on the miracle worker means starting a relationship, and we can't control that. It's not easy. But that's what's going to save us. It's not the miracle that will save us, but the miracle worker. It's not the sign that will save us, but the one who the sign points to. And so going back, here's why I think it won't work. Because we have all we need anymore, and we risk focusing on the miracle rather than on God. Last story. Sometimes Jesus does grant the sign. Remember when the Jews challenged Jesus by asking him by what authority you do these things, referring to when he Hulk smashed the temple? Well, he said, "Destroy this temple and I will raise it again in 3 days." They replied, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you are going to raise it in 3 days?" But the temple he had spoken of was his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples recalled what he had said. Then they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. That's how Jesus does a sign. It points back to Him. The miracle points back to God. So don't let the miracle blind you. Instead, like a lamp, let the miracle guide you. Are you ready for that? If you are, well, Lord, can I get a sign? Jesus was brutal. Whoops!